Hello, automotive enthusiasts. Welcome back to another journey through the fascinating evolution of automobiles. I'm thrilled to have you join me today as we explore one of the most dramatic transformations in automotive history, the evolution of SUVs from rugged military workhorses to the pinnacle of luxury and status. What started as purely utilitarian vehicles designed to conquer battlefields have somehow become the preferred rides of celebrities, business executives, and suburban families alike. Today we're going to trace this remarkable journey through 12 iconic vehicles that defined and redefined what an SUV could be. From the muddy trenches of World War II to the valet lines of five-star hotels, let's discover how these vehicles climbed the automotive social ladder. Willys MB, 1941, the original trailblazer. Our story begins in the chaos of World War II. The U.S. Army needed a light, rugged reconnaissance vehicle that could handle any terrain. The answer came in the form of the Willys MB, the original Jeep. With its 60-horsepower Go Devil engine, simple flat-fender design, and incredible durability, the Willys MB changed warfare mobility forever. What many don't know is that the name Jeep likely came from soldiers referencing GP, General Purpose Vehicle, which eventually morphed into Jeep. Perhaps the most impressive feat? The entire development process took just 49 days from initial design to production prototype. General Eisenhower later credited the Jeep as one of the three tools that won World War II, alongside the Dakota airplane and the atomic bomb. The Willys MB established the DNA for all future SUVs: four-wheel drive, boxy design, exceptional ground clearance, and a go-anywhere attitude. When you see modern Jeep Wranglers today, you're witnessing the direct descendants of this military icon. Land Rover Series I, 1948, the farmer's friend. As World War II ended, the Rover Company in Britain faced a new problem: what to build with the remaining aircraft aluminum when warplane production ceased. Their ingenious solution was the Land Rover Series I, inspired by the Willys Jeep, but designed specifically for peacetime agricultural use. The early prototypes were built with the steering wheel in the middle, not for any technical reason, but because the designer was used to driving tractors. This was quickly changed before production, thankfully. The Series I featured a steel box section chassis and aluminum body panels to work around post-war steel shortages, making it incredibly resistant to rust, which is why so many are still running today. Its 1.6-liter engine produced just 50 horsepower, but coupled with its rugged four-wheel drive system, it could navigate terrain that would leave other vehicles stranded. Land Rover initially expected to sell these vehicles for just a few years until the luxury car market recovered. Instead, they created a legend that would continue for decades, eventually becoming the preferred transport of everyone from Queen Elizabeth II to safari guides in the Serengeti. Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40, 1960, Japanese reliability goes off-road. In the 1950s, Toyota was just beginning to establish itself globally. When the Korean War broke out, the Japanese National Police Reserve needed reliable, tough vehicles. Toyota's answer was the Land Cruiser, which would go on to become the company's longest-running series. The FJ40 model, introduced in 1960, is the one that truly put Land Cruiser on the map. With its iconic boxy shape, removable hardtop, fold-down windshield, and nearly indestructible 3.9-liter inline-six engine, the FJ40 could survive conditions that would break lesser vehicles. Here's an amazing fact. Toyota tested the Land Cruiser's reliability by driving it up the slopes of Mount Fuji, not on roads, but directly up the volcanic mountainside, reaching the sixth stage at 2,500 meters above sea level. No other vehicle had accomplished this feat before. The FJ40 demonstrated that Japanese engineering could create vehicles as tough as any American or European offering. Today, well-maintained FJ40s have become highly sought-after collectibles with restored examples fetching over $100,000 at auction. Not bad for a vehicle originally designed just to get the job done. Ford Bronco First Generation, 1966, America's outdoor companion. By the mid-1960s, Americans were falling in love with outdoor recreation. Ford, noticing the success of Jeep and International Harvester's Scout, decided to enter the market with its own compact SUV, the Bronco. The original Bronco was developed under the codename GOAT, goes over any terrain, which perfectly captured its mission. Ford's product manager Donald Frey, the same genius behind the Mustang, envisioned a vehicle that could serve as a sports car with four-wheel drive. What made the first-generation Bronco special was its combination of off-road capability and relative comfort. It featured a unique coil spring front suspension instead of leaf springs, giving it better handling than competitors. Available in wagon, half-cab pickup, or roadster configurations, the Bronco was versatile enough for work or play. The Bronco quickly established itself in off-road racing, winning the grueling Baja 1000 in 1969, the first production vehicle to do so. This victory cemented its reputation as a serious performer, not just a lifestyle accessory. The Bronco represented a crucial step in SUV evolution. It maintained serious off-road credentials while adding enough comfort features to make it suitable for everyday use. It's no wonder Ford resurrected the Bronco name in 2020 to immense fanfare, tapping into the nostalgia for this pioneering SUV. Range Rover Classic, 1970. The Gentleman Farmer's Chariot. If there's one vehicle that fundamentally changed what an SUV could be, it's the original Range Rover. Before its arrival, the world thought off-roaders had to be Spartan, uncomfortable, and utilitarian. Range Rover proved you could have capability and luxury. Incredibly, the initial Range Rover prototypes were disguised as a new model called Velar during development to keep the project secret. Even more surprisingly, the early models had vinyl seats and plastic dashboards because they were still expected to be hosed out after a day's work on the farm. What made the Range Rover revolutionary was its combination of features: permanent four-wheel drive, a powerful V8 engine, long-travel coil spring suspension providing both off-road articulation and on-road comfort, and a more upright driving position that gave drivers a commanding view of the road. In 1972, a Range Rover became the first vehicle to cross the Americas through the infamously dangerous Darien Gap, 18,000 miles from Alaska to Cape Horn. Yet this same vehicle was also the first SUV exhibited at the Louvre as an exemplary work of industrial design. The Range Rover marked the pivotal moment when SUVs began their transformation from purely utilitarian vehicles to status symbols. It created an entirely new market segment, the luxury SUV, establishing the blueprint that premium manufacturers would follow for decades to come. Mercedes-Benz G-Class, 1979. From military might to celebrity must-have. Few vehicles have undergone as dramatic a social transformation as the Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Originally developed as a military vehicle at the suggestion of the Shah of Iran, then a significant Mercedes-Benz shareholder, the G-Wagon was built to be virtually indestructible. The original G-Class was so over-engineered that one of the first production models from 1979 completed a 30,000-kilometer journey from Paris to Beijing, crossing some of the world's most inhospitable terrain. Mercedes still has this vehicle in its collection, and it still runs perfectly. The G-Class was designed with 3 fully locking differentials, an extreme rarity that gave it exceptional off-road capability. Combined with its rigid ladder frame, solid axles, and boxy design that maximized approach and departure angles, it could overcome obstacles that would defeat almost any other vehicle. For its first 2 decades, the G-Class was purely utilitarian, serving with military and rescue services around the world. Then something unexpected happened. Luxury buyers began to notice its uncompromising build quality and distinctive appearance. By the late 1990s, Mercedes-Benz was adding leather, wood trim, and powerful AMG engines. Today's G-Class can cost over $150,000 and is a favorite among celebrities and the ultra-wealthy, yet underneath the luxury appointments, it retains the same rugged engineering principles that made the original so capable. It's perhaps the ultimate example of how a utilitarian design can become a luxury status symbol without compromising its core functionality. Jeep Cherokee XJ 1984, the first modern SUV. If you're looking for the vehicle that transformed SUVs from niche products to mainstream family transportation, look no further than the 1984 Jeep Cherokee XJ. This revolutionary design created the blueprint for modern SUVs that continues to influence the market today. What made the Cherokee XJ so groundbreaking was its unibody construction, replacing the separate body-on-frame design used by all previous SUVs. This made it lighter, more fuel-efficient, and better handling, while still maintaining impressive off-road capability thanks to its Quadra-Link suspension and Command Track 4WD system. The Cherokee was compact compared to other SUVs of its era, but offered remarkable interior space efficiency. Despite being 21 inches shorter, 6 inches narrower, and 4 inches lower than its predecessor, it actually had more cargo space, a packaging miracle that influenced countless future designs. Automotive journalist Robert Cumberford called the Cherokee XJ possibly the best SUV shape of all time, praising its clean lines and perfect proportions. Its design was so successful that Jeep barely changed it for its 17-year production run. The Cherokee XJ democratized the SUV, making it practical for everyday family use while maintaining enough capability for weekend adventures. It bridged the gap between utilitarian off-roaders and car-like comfort, establishing the formula that would make SUVs the dominant vehicle type in many markets decades later. Hummer H1, 1992. Battlefield to boulevard, few vehicles make as bold a statement as the Hummer H1. Based directly on the military Humvee, high-mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle that gained fame during the Gulf War, the civilian H1 brought unapologetic military presence to public roads. The H1's dimensions were staggering, over 7 feet wide, nearly 6,800 pounds, with 16 inches of ground clearance. Its central tire inflation system could adjust tire pressure on the move, and its inboard brakes and portal axles gave it extraordinary off-road geometry. What many don't know is that despite its imposing size, the H1's interior was surprisingly cramped because of the wide transmission tunnel running through the cabin. It was also painfully slow. The early diesel versions took nearly 20 seconds to reach 60 mph, despite their formidable appearance. The Hummer H1 gained enormous popularity after Arnold Schwarzenegger persistently lobbied AM General to make a civilian version after seeing a convoy of military Humvees. It subsequently became the ultimate symbol of excess and capability, representing both the peak of SUV flamboyance and genuine go-anywhere engineering. While environmentalists condemned it and enthusiasts celebrated it, the H1 represented a fascinating chapter in SUV history, a virtually unmodified military vehicle finding a passionate civilian fan base willing to pay over $100,000 for the privilege of driving a war machine to the shopping mall. Toyota RAV4, 1994. The crossover revolution begins. By the early 1990s, Toyota recognized a market opportunity. Many buyers wanted the high driving position and outdoorsy image of an SUV, but didn't need serious off-road capability. Their solution was the RAV4, the recreational active vehicle with four-wheel drive, often credited as the world's first crossover SUV. Built on a modified Corolla platform rather than a truck chassis, the original RAV4 was radically different from traditional SUVs. It featured a unibody design, fully independent suspension, and a relatively small 2.0-liter engine mounted transversely, more like a car than a truck. The first RAV4 was remarkably compact at just 146 inches long, over a foot shorter than today's model, making it perfect for urban environments while still providing the elevated seating position consumers craved. It even came in a quirky two-door convertible version that developed a cult following. Toyota initially expected to sell just 4,500 RAV4s monthly. They severely underestimated its appeal. Within months, they were selling triple that number. The RAV4 has now become the world's best-selling SUV with over 10 million units sold across 5 generations. The RAV4 fundamentally changed the SUV landscape by proving that consumers would embrace vehicles that prioritized on-road comfort and fuel economy over extreme off-road ability. It created the crossover segment that now dominates automotive sales charts worldwide, representing perhaps the most significant shift in the SUV evolution story. Porsche Cayenne, 2002, the performance SUV arrives. When Porsche announced it was building an SUV, purists were outraged. How could the maker of the 911, one of the world's greatest sports cars, sully its reputation with a family hauler? 2 decades later, those critics have been silenced. The Cayenne not only saved Porsche financially but revolutionized performance expectations for SUVs. The development of the Cayenne was called Project Colorado, conducted in partnership with Volkswagen, developing the Touareg. Porsche insisted on engineering the platform to handle exceptional performance, including a reinforced structure and powerful engines exclusive to the Cayenne. The first-generation Cayenne Turbo was genuinely shocking for its time. A 5,000-pound SUV that could accelerate from 0-60 mph in 5.2 seconds and reach 165 mph, while also capable of serious off-roading thanks to its advanced air suspension and transfer case with low-range gearing. Perhaps the most impressive validation came at the fearsome Nürburgring, where Porsche test driver Walter Röhrl lapped the Cayenne faster than many dedicated sports cars. This demonstrated that SUVs could deliver driving excitement rather than merely practical transportation. The Cayenne single-handedly saved Porsche from financial trouble, quickly becoming its best-selling model and providing the cash flow needed to develop new sports cars. More importantly, it established that performance and practicality weren't mutually exclusive, creating a new category of SUVs that prioritize driving dynamics alongside utility. Tesla Model X, 2015, the electric revolution. By the 2010s, SUVs had conquered the automotive landscape, but they still carried one persistent criticism: poor fuel efficiency. Tesla's answer was the Model X, the world's first purpose-built electric luxury SUV that brought science fiction technology to the segment. The Model X's most eye-catching feature was its dramatic falcon wing rear doors that opened upward rather than outward. Unlike previous gull-wing designs, these doors contained double hinges and ultrasonic sensors to prevent collisions in tight spaces. They were as much a technical showcase as a practical solution for accessing the rear seats. Beyond the doors, the Model X rewrote SUV performance standards. The top plaid version could accelerate from 0 to 60 mph in just 2.5 seconds, making it faster than most supercars while seating up to 7 people. Its low center of gravity, thanks to the battery pack mounted in the floor, also gave it handling capabilities that defied its size and weight. Perhaps most revolutionary was its range and charging network. While early electric vehicles struggled with limited range and charging options, the Model X could travel over 300 miles on a charge and access Tesla's growing supercharger network, making long-distance travel practical in ways previous EVs couldn't match. The Model X proved that electric power could overcome traditional SUV limitations, delivering both environmental benefits and performance advantages. It signaled the beginning of the electric transformation that's now sweeping through the entire SUV market. Lamborghini Urus, 2018. The super SUV arrives. Our journey concludes with what might be the most extreme transformation of the SUV concept, the Lamborghini Urus. From military beginnings to supercar performance, the SUV evolution culminates in this 650 horsepower, 190 millimeters Italian exotic that can also handle off-road trails. The Urus wasn't Lamborghini's first SUV. That honor belongs to the LM002 Rambo Lambo from the 1980s, but the Urus approached the concept from an entirely different direction. Rather than making a truck with a powerful engine, Lamborghini essentially created a supercar with increased ride height and 4 doors. Despite weighing over 4,800 pounds, the Urus can accelerate from 0-60 mph in just 3.1 seconds, thanks to its twin-turbocharged V8 engine. It can also brake from 60 mph in just 107 feet, performance figures that would have been impressive for a dedicated sports car, let alone a vehicle that can seat 5 and handle light off-roading. The Urus includes technology like rear-wheel steering, active anti-roll bars, and torque vectoring to overcome the physics challenges of making a high-riding vehicle handle like a low-slung sports car. It also features the Ego driving mode, a fitting name for a vehicle that's as much about making a statement as it is about transportation. Within its first year, the Urus doubled Lamborghini's annual sales, proving that even the most exotic automotive brands could successfully enter the SUV market without diluting their brand identity. It represents the ultimate evolution so far, from utilitarian beginnings to status symbol supercar. What an incredible journey we've taken from the battlefields of World War II to the valet stands of exclusive resorts. The SUV has transformed from a purely functional tool designed for the harshest conditions into the ultimate expression of status, technology, and performance. Yet despite all these changes, the core appeal remains remarkably consistent. The commanding driving position, the sense of security, the go-anywhere promise of freedom and adventure, even if most never leave paved roads. The psychological appeal of SUVs has proven as important as their practical benefits. Where will SUVs go next? The electric revolution is already transforming the segment, with battery power overcoming traditional SUV inefficiencies. Autonomous technology promises to turn these vehicles into mobile living rooms or offices. Yet, I suspect the fundamental appeal will remain unchanged. The desire to sit above traffic, see farther down the road, and feel prepared for whatever might come. If you've enjoyed this journey through SUV history, please hit that subscribe button to join me for future explorations of automotive evolution. Drop a comment below with your favorite SUV of all time or suggestions for our next automotive evolution story. Until next time, keep your eyes on the road and your mind on the fascinating history beneath your wheels.